guys, welcome back to science. We are doing week 22, and this week we're talking about catapults. So last week we built straw towers, and I saw some awesome ones that you guys posted pictures of, and I'm sure hopefully there were more. Hopefully you did some teamwork, right? Worked with your siblings, worked with your parents, made some awesome straw towers. All right, so this week we're going to build catapults, all right? Our only things that we're really going to use are popsicle sticks and some straws, or not straws, these are not straws, these are rubber bands, and maybe a couple other little things. So let's talk a little bit about what a catapult is, how it works. Think about, what do we know about energy? There's two forms of energy. What are they? Right, potential and kinetic. So potential energy is when you're just getting ready to fly your object on your catapult, right? When you're pulling it back, when you're waiting to release it, right? That's your potential energy. And then when you're releasing it, that's your kinetic energy as your thing is flying through the air, right? All right, so it says physicists study motion and the math needed to calculate how to convert potential energy into kinetic. How fast and how far a projectile will go is based on its mass and the force applied. We know that, right? Force equals mass times acceleration. That's Newton's second law, right? Newton's second law of motion. The outside forces like air resistance and gravity are going to slow it down once it starts flying, all right? So some things to think about as you're finding what objects you want to use. You can use all different types of things. I've got marshmallows here. But you can use marshmallows or pom-poms or grapes or anything that your parents let you use, okay? But different things, depending on the mass, might fly different distances. So you could try different things and see how far they fly, all right? And see how the mass affects it. All right, so there's many different kinds of catapults that have been used over history, including the famous trebuchet. My kids have built those for Trail Life. They made a big one. I think they launched soccer balls. No matter which design you come up with for your launch, now I've only given you the one to kind of do the one basic design that they show in the foundation spec, but there are tons of different ones that you can do. Each catapult needs force and energy to get flying. That's the science of physics or movement. As you pull your catapult, making it ready to launch, potential energy is stored up. The tension that's created in the rubber bands built up the potential energy and the force we needed. When you let go, you release the potential energy and it transformed into kinetic energy or movement, right? Kinetic energy is the energy of movement. We know this. Different catapults will launch projectiles different distances depending on how much potential energy you can build up. Other factors, like I said, might be the mass or the weight and the course of the aerodynamics of your object. Once it's in the air, it's the forces of gravity and air resistance that slow your object down. Do you think there's going to be a lot of air resistance in your house? Probably not. So if you're launching like a marshmallow or a pom-pom or a rock, I wouldn't suggest rocks probably, but there's probably not going to be a whole lot of air resistance with those. But that is something to think about. All right. Before the inventions of cannons with explosives, catapults were the most effective launching machines. All right. So I did send your parents a file. Excuse my daughter in the background, Elizabeth. Hey, I did send your parents a file that has several different types of catapults that you can build, but like I said, I'm just going to show you the basic one right here. So the way that you're going to start this, and I'm going to, the other thing I wanted to mention before I show you the basic build on this is, it says the earliest use of catapults may come from the Bible. In 2 Chronicles 26:15, scripture mentions that King Uzziah of Judah ordered his men to build engines and place them in towers to shoot arrows and great stones. This would have been in the middle 700s BC. Catapults were used widely in the ancient world of the Greeks and Romans, as well as in the Far East. Their continued use through the medieval period until the invention of gunpowder and cannons then made them obsolete. All right, so they were used as great weapons. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna stack up your small popsicle sticks. And I gave you enough for like all the kids in your family to do their own, or you could combine your supplies and make a different type of catapult if you want, a different fancier one. Like I said, there's lots of different ones you can do. So you're gonna stack them all up together, your 5 or 6 or however many you're gonna do, rubber band them all together at one end, like that. Then you're gonna rubber band them all together at the other end. All right, so you've got them stacked together. Then you're gonna take 2 big ones. And you're gonna rubber band them together at one end. All right. And then you're gonna open them up kind of like an alligator. All right. Slide that inside there. All right. And then you need to kind of attach these together. And there's lots of different ways you can do that, however you want to wrap that around. I kind of do it like an X. So do that across there and kind of twist it and do it across there. And then kind of do it again. I always mess it up and have to kind of go back and redo it. So as long as it's on there tight, so you're going to want to do it a few times. That's not tight yet. So I'm going to wrap it around again. Just do it a few times till it's nice and tight on there, okay? So it doesn't slip. All right, so that's your basic catapult. But we're missing something. We don't have a launcher, do we? We don't have anything to put on there to launch. So I've got 2 finished ones over here. One of them I've attached a spoon with a rubber band, and one of them I've attached a bottle cap using a glue gun. So you can do either one. And then you get to launch. Now, you have to decide, again, what you want to launch. Do you want to launch marshmallows or pom-poms? You have to decide where you want this. Depending on where you put this is going to change the arc of how it flies. So those are all things you can, and depending on how many popsicle sticks you put in here, if you put more or less, it's going to change how far this pushes down. So all of those things, you can maybe make yourself a little landing pad and see if you could aim for it. You could see which ones fly the farthest. I guess Elizabeth wants me to launch it again, so we're going to launch one more time. That one launched way behind Drew. So anyway, it should be a lot of fun. If you have any questions, you can let me know. But these are the pretty basic ones. We bought a book called Mini Weapons of Mass Destruction, Build Implements of Spitball Warfare. And this has all kinds of different, not just catapults in it, but all kinds of stuff in it that you can look at. But this one does have different types of catapults in it, but you can find them online as well. I sent your parents a couple files, but you can find some other ones online that have samples in them. All kinds of different fun, more advanced ones that have like swinging arms, and you can find videos online as well if you go to YouTube of like big, huge, life-size ones that other CC families have done or just other people have done. So if you want to find some videos of those are fun to watch. Other than that, make sure you take some pictures of the ones you've made, show me some videos so I can compile them to put in our week 24, what am I trying to say? Somebody help me out? Our week 24 compilation video of what we've done. So I think that is it. I can't wait to see what you've done. Matthew, you want to come show it off?
And the most important thing about these, have fun!
Oh, and don't hit the lights. Yes, the most important thing is have fun. I mean, we are shooting catapults.
Let's try it again. Have fun! Let me do one!
All right, let's see if the 4-year-old can do it. Come here.
Oh, God.
All right, bye guys. See you next week.
I'm going to do it again. The 4-year-old can do it again. Oh, my God. All right, Dad, are we done?